So I would propose to you that the Eucharist, and then we'll get into miracles, that the Eucharist needs to be understood like the incarnation. This is going to be kind of high theology just for a minute. The Eucharist is a little bit like the incarnation in one way, and it's a little bit like the wedding feast of Cana in another way. It's like the wedding feast of Cana in that one substance becomes another substance. But it's not like the wedding feast of Cana in that the water now looks like wine. In the Eucharist, still looks like bread and wine. So is it like half a miracle and like not another half of another miracle? Or is there like something beautiful that Jesus is doing to give us himself without grossing us out? So it's kind of like the wedding feast of Cana in that one substance becomes another substance. But then it's more like the incarnation in another way. When the Word becomes flesh, when the Word becomes flesh, what did the people see? He looked like a man. He saw a man. Well, is he God or is he a man? He's both. I don't see a God. Well, then he can't be God. If it doesn't look like God, it can't be God. Or can it be God? You already told me that you believe it. You already told me that you believe that the Word did become flesh. And if you look upon the historical Jesus, you do not see God. You see a man. But you believe this, don't you? You believe that God became human and that hidden reality is there even though I see something that doesn't show me that hidden reality. You believe that. And I would suggest that it is way crazier. You can disagree with me. It is way crazier to believe that the invisible, eternal, infinite, majestic, glorious, omnipresent, omniscient, whatever other big words you want to use about this deity, divinity, being called God, it is way crazier to think that somehow the infinite, ineffable, all-powerful, invisible deity is contained inside of a human body. I think that is way crazier to first believe that than it is to believe that if that divine being who is totally invisible, immortal, all-encompassing of all things, if he can put himself into a 6-foot body, that he can probably put himself in a 2-inch body. Like that is not like, which is crazier? The infinite and eternal being encompassed in a 6-foot figure, or the infinite and eternal who I believe can go into a 6-inch figure could compress himself into a 2-inch figure. The first is much more difficult to believe. To believe that God became man is much more difficult to believe than if I already believe that God became man, that God could then put himself in the Eucharist.